When three high school bullies targeted Imani Davis for her wheelchair and skin color, they never expected their cruelty would lead them to discover her extraordinary strength, a strength that would ultimately bring them to their knees and transform their hearts. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from and make sure to subscribe, because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. The halls of Westlake High echoed with the usual Monday morning chaos. Students rushed to lockers, gossip flowed freely, and through it all, Imani Davis skillfully navigated her wheelchair with practiced precision. At 16, Imani had mastered the art of being simultaneously visible and invisible, known to everyone, yet truly seen by few. Her dark brown skin contrasted with the bright yellow of her wheelchair, which she decorated with art pins and stickers that reflected her passion for astronomy and poetry. "Excuse me?" Imani said politely, her voice strong but patient as she tried to pass through a group of students blocking the hallway. Most moved aside without acknowledging her, continuing their conversations as if she were just another obstacle in the corridor, like a trash can or water fountain. Imani had been born with spina bifida, but she never let it define her. She maintained a 4.0 GPA, wrote for the school newspaper, and had already been approached by college scouts interested in her academic achievements. But none of that mattered to Vanessa Miller and her friends, who saw Imani only as a target. Well, if it isn't Wheels," Vanessa announced loudly as Imani approached her locker. Vanessa leaned against it, deliberately blocking access. Her friends Courtney and Megan snickered on cue, forming a semicircle around Imani. "Don't you have a special entrance or something? This hallway is for people who can actually use the stairs." Imani took a deep breath, centering herself as she had learned to do over years of facing such treatment. "I need to get to my locker, Vanessa. We both have English in 5 minutes." "Oh, she needs to get to her locker," Vanessa mocked, her voice pitched high. She turned to her friends. "Should we move? What do you think, girls?" Before anyone could answer, Vanessa reached over and knocked Imani's backpack from her lap. Books, papers, and pens scattered across the floor as students passed, by some stepping on her belongings, others simply pretending not to notice. "Oops," Vanessa said with exaggerated innocence. "Looks like you dropped something." Imani stared at her possessions strewn across the dirty hallway floor. This wasn't the first time, and she doubted it would be the last. She began gathering what she could reach, her movements deliberate and composed despite the humiliation burning inside her. "Need some help?" A deep voice cut through the tension. Marcus Johnson, captain of the debate team and one of the most respected seniors in school, knelt down and began collecting Imani's books. "I've got these." "She doesn't need your charity," Vanessa snapped, suddenly uncomfortable as other students started watching the scene unfold. "It's not charity," Marcus replied evenly. "It's called being decent. You should try it sometime." As Marcus helped Imani, Ms. Rivera, the assistant principal, approached the group with purposeful strides. "What's going on here?" she asked, her eyes sharp as they took in the scattered belongings and the guilty expressions on the bullies' faces. "Nothing," Vanessa said quickly. "Imani just dropped her stuff." "Actually," came another voice from the crowd. Zoe Chen, a quiet girl who usually kept to herself, stepped forward. She held up her phone. "I recorded the whole thing. They knocked her stuff down on purpose. And it's not the first time." Ms. Rivera's expression hardened. "Vanessa, Courtney, Megan, my office. Now." As the three girls followed Ms. Rivera, Vanessa shot Imani a venomous look. "Nice job getting us in trouble, wheel girl," she hissed, under her breath. When the bullies were gone, Imani looked at Zoe with surprise. "You recorded that? Why?" Zoe shrugged, suddenly self-conscious. "I was tired of watching it happen. My brother uses a wheelchair, too. People think they can get away with anything if nobody speaks up." 3 hours later, Imani sat in the conference room adjacent to Principal Hernandez's office. Her mother, Dr. Kendra Davis, sat beside her, radiating quiet strength and barely contained anger. Across the table, Vanessa and her friends sat with their parents, all looking considerably less confident than they had in the hallway. The video Ms. Chen provided leaves no room for interpretation, Principal Hernandez said, his voice grave. This is clear bullying with the added elements of targeting a student with a disability and racial slurs that were caught on the recording. Vanessa's mother gasped. Racial slurs? Vanessa, you didn't... It's all there in the video, Ms. Rivera confirmed. Along with evidence of previous incidents, Principal Hernandez continued. According to our zero-tolerance policy on bullying, and particularly given the discriminatory nature of these actions, all 3 of you are suspended for 2 weeks. Additionally, you'll complete 40 hours of community service at the Westside Community Center, working in their accessibility programs. Tears welled in Courtney's eyes while Megan stared at the table. Vanessa, however, seemed more concerned with the consequences than with any genuine remorse. Furthermore, the principal added, you will each write a research paper on disability rights and the history of discrimination against people of color in our education system. Imani listened to the punishments being handed down without satisfaction. This wasn't what she wanted. More anger, more resentment that would eventually find its way back to her. When the principal asked if she wanted to say anything, she surprised everyone with her response. I'd like to speak to them, alone, if that's possible. The adults exchanged uncertain glances, but Dr. Davis recognized the determination in her daughter's eyes. 5 minutes, she conceded. We'll be right, outside. When the door closed behind the adults, the room filled with tense silence. Vanessa couldn't even look at Imani. Courtney sniffled quietly. I don't hate you, Imani began, her voice steady. And I don't want you to be punished if it just makes you hate me more. What I want is for you to understand something. She wheeled, closer to the table. Every day I wake up and face a world that wasn't built for me. Every ramp, every elevator, every accessible bathroom, those exist because someone fought for my right to access the same spaces as you. My mom says our ancestors did the same thing so people who look like me could sit in the same classrooms as people who look like you. You see this chair and think it makes me weak, Imani continued. But moving through a world filled with barriers has made me stronger than you can imagine. You see my skin color and think you know something about me. You don't. Megan wiped away tears. Courtney's shoulders shook with silent sobs. Even Vanessa had lost her defiant stance, staring at her hands in her lap. I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me. I'm asking you to see me. Actually see me. I'm asking you to understand that the differences between us aren't weaknesses. They're just differences. Imani took a deep breath. The community service you've been assigned? I volunteer there already. I'd be happy to show you around, introduce you to people. You might be surprised at what you learn. For the first time, Vanessa met Imani's eyes directly. Why would you help us after what we did? Because, Imani said simply, that's the difference. Between us right now, you saw someone you could hurt. I see people who could learn to be better. The culmination of the story's transformation arc, showing the genuine change that has occurred in both the bullies and the school community as a whole. 1 month has passed since the confrontation and disciplinary actions, allowing time for real growth and understanding to develop. The opening of this section with the school newspaper article serves as an objective confirmation that the changes are real and publicly acknowledged within the school community. This narrative device effectively shows that the transformation has extended beyond just private reconciliation to become something the entire school is witnessing and celebrating. The creation of the Accessibility Awareness Club is particularly significant because it transforms what began as punishment, community service, into a voluntary, ongoing commitment. This illustrates that Vanessa and her friends have genuinely internalized the lessons from their experience, rather than simply completing mandated tasks to avoid further punishment. The fact that Imani and Vanessa are co-founders emphasizes the equal partnership they've developed, showing how far they've come from their hierarchical bully-victim dynamic at the beginning of the story. The quote from Vanessa in the newspaper article provides direct insight into her transformation. Her recognition that she wasted energy trying to make others feel small shows genuine self-reflection and emotional growth. When she acknowledges strength I never recognized before, it demonstrates that she has completely reframed her understanding of disability and difference, no longer viewing Imani as weak, but rather appreciating her unique forms of strength. The gymnasium scene serves as a physical manifestation of the role reversal that has occurred. Initially, Vanessa wielded power over Imani in the hallway, but now Imani is the teacher and coach, while Vanessa struggles with the wheelchair maneuvers. This reversal isn't portrayed as revenge, but rather as a moment of connection and mutual respect, emphasized by their shared laughter and encouragement. This scene also physically places them in the same space, at the same level, visually reinforcing their new equality. The observation by Principal Hernandez and Ms. Rivera provides an adult perspective that validates the transformation while also acknowledging the unconventional approach to discipline. Their dialogue reveals that this outcome wasn't just luck, but the result of Imani's wisdom that the best way to fight hatred is with understanding. This gives Imani credit for her emotional intelligence and emphasizes that she was an active agent in her own story, not just a passive recipient of either bullying or rescue. The concluding uses Imani's movement through the gym as a metaphor for broader social change. The space becoming more open, more accessible, and more just parallels the opening of hearts and minds that has occurred. The final phrase, one person, one connection, one changed mind at a time, emphasizes the gradual, individual nature of social progress, suggesting that while systematic change is needed, it often begins with personal transformation and connections between individuals.